everybody. Mark Moorhead here at the Hall of Flame Museum of Firefighting in Phoenix, Arizona. We are the largest historical firefighting museum in the world. And if you can't come into the museum, we'll bring the museum to you. And today, we're going to talk a little American LaFrance, always a favorite subject here at the Hall of Flame. We love our American LaFrance trucks. And this one is from 1924. And this one belonged to, maybe you can guess from the initials there, the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe Railroad, one of the great American railroads. It was around from the mid-1800s until the 1990s. Began in the Midwest and spread out, especially into the West. And a lot of people remember it, of course, from that wonderful song, the Atchison, Topeka, and the Santa Fe, by Johnny Mercer and Harry Warren, that was came out in the 40s and was used in the movie The Harvey Girls. But this one is this is an earlier vintage than that song. This truck was bought by the Atchison, Topeka, and the Santa Fe Railroad in 1924, and it was stationed at a railroad yard in San Bernardino, California. And the idea was that it's a chemical car, so it's got a chemical tank, and you can blast a little bit of water very hard onto a fire as a sort of an initial response. And the idea is it would be a quick response to fires along this stretch of railroad tracks in the yard there. And that was the premise, but it must not have been that many fires, because this truck from 1924, when it was acquired by the Hall of Flame Museum in 1970, it had less than 200 miles on its odometer. So apparently fires just weren't that big of a problem there, but it was ready if that ever was the case. Now, the other thing to know about this truck, a lot of people notice these tires. And these are some old, hardcore solid rubber tires, and you might politely say they have seen better days. And people sometimes wonder about that. Well, those solid tires, of course we can't replace them. They're just, the replacements for those tires just really kind of aren't available. But why did these go so particularly bad? The best we can guess is that this thing just sat outside in that hot California sun for years and years and years. You'll also notice that it has the right-hand drive, which is something that you see in a lot of American fire trucks in the earlier part of the 1920s. Not until getting on toward the end of the 20s did they do redesigns of those trucks where they actually retooled the factory so that they didn't have right-hand drive like they had it. We have a couple of other trucks along those lines. So this truck remained in California for a number of years, and then at some point it was sent back to Topeka, Kansas, where it was restored by the company to some extent. And it's possible they were going to use it for promotional purposes, something like that. But it was there for many more years in Topeka, Kansas. And eventually our founder, Mr. Getz, George Getz, who founded the Hall of Flame Museum, he had been a board member of the Santa Fe Railroad. And so he became aware of this truck, and he purchased it from them in 1970. And it's had its home here with us at the Hall of Flame ever since. And I'm delighted to get to share it with you. As always, if you like these little segments we do for you, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, to like, to share them with your friends, to share them on social media, and keep checking back often, because we're always, as you know, trying to bring you more good stuff here at the Hall of Flame Museum of Firefighting. I'm Mark Moorhead. Bye-bye.